The following program is rated TV MA-LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. For this video, I'm going to be reacting to another Ray William Johnson video. This is She Lied About Everything. The stories that he has in his videos are so crazy. At least the ones that I've seen, it's like, dang, people actually think to do stuff like that. Like, I don't understand. But yeah, I don't know what is going on with her. It looks like she has tarot cards in front of her. But yeah, let's get into this video, and please subscribe. Let me know what else I should react to in the comments below.
So this woman is psychic, or at least she claims she is, and she's about to defraud this guy out of millions of dollars. Now her name is Rachel Lee, and she lives in Oregon, and one day this guy walks
Okay, so she's pretending to be psychic, trying to steal some money.
into her psychic shop. His name's Ralph, and Ralph is 57, and the poor guy is just super lonely, and he wants advice from...
But also, do people actually believe in psychics? I don't know. I'm not the type of person that would pay to get my fortune read or a psychic reading, because I feel like they just have such broad statements. It could work with anyone. And also, I feel like if you're a real psychic, you probably wouldn't want to tell people, because I feel like people that actually pay for psychic readings or ask for money to do psychic readings, I feel like maybe they're scammers. I don't know. I'm just not into that, so I don't believe it. But maybe there are psychic people, but I feel like they're not the ones that are charging people.
from a psychic. But Rachel Lee, she sees him as an easy mark. I mean, he's a lonely old man, he's never been married, he's never even been in a relationship, and most importantly, he's worth millions of dollars because his family owns a successful tree farm.
Why don't
So
you
Rachel Lee
use a
gives
dating
him a
app?
psychic reading, and they start talking, and they hit it off, and she tells him all the things he wants to hear. And so later, he starts going back to her again and again and revealing more and more about his life, and their relationship starts to get personal. And they start hanging out, and Ralph is like buying her little gifts and writing her checks and whatever she needs. And eventually, Ralph ends up hiring her as his personal housekeeper. And later, he hires her to take care of...
What? How do you go from psychic readings to cleaning your house? What? Like, if you met someone, like, I don't know, restaurant or hotel or something, and they were cleaning, that would make sense. Oh, like, you want to personally clean my house? Like, I'll pay you to do that. But how are you going to go to a psychic reader and be like, oh, when you're done reading other people's futures, you want to clean my house? Like, I don't understand that. Like, how? I don't know.
his elderly father's finances, like help him pay his bills on time and stuff like that. And then she becomes Ralph's elderly father's full-time caretaker, and she's helping manage the finances of the family business, aka the successful tree farm. So over the next 2 years, Rachel slowly grooms Ralph to trust her, and she pretends to be his best friend, and she uses his finances to pay herself $9,000 a month to work for him. Damn. But then, one day...
He doesn't notice? He don't keep track?
Rachel Lee comes to Ralph with a prediction. Because remember, she's psychic. She tells him that he's in luck, and that soon he's gonna meet someone special. A romantic interest. Someone with blonde hair and an English accent. And this is great news for Ralph. I mean, he's super lonely and he loves blonde women with English.
Wait, what was the point of hiring her? Like, why can she not be the one for him? Like, did he not think about this? I'm confused. I thought he did all this for her because he liked her, but she's not the one. Okay.
English accents. So shortly after that, one day Ralph is at the Portland airport, and he just so happens to get approached by a woman. This woman, Mary Marks, and Mary Marks strikes up a conversation with him.
Oh, is she a paid actor?
She just so happens to have blonde hair and an English accent.
She's a paid actor.
And Mary Marks tells him that she's an exchange student and that she's in her 20s. Now, none of that is true, but we'll get to that. So Ralph and Mary
even
Marks
the AI,
strike
she
up
does
a
not look in her
conversation, and
20s.
They hit it off, and they start flirting. And pretty soon, they're talking on the phone all the time. But she lives in California, and he lives all the way up in Oregon. So their relationship is long distance, but they're really into each other. 2 years later, they get
Are they
married,
really?
and it's a quick marriage to help her get her visa, but whatever. Ralph is super happy. I mean, he's never had a wife before, even if it is long distance. In fact, bro is so in love, like he ends up getting one of those personalized license plate frames that says Ralph Hart Mary on it. But soon enough, Mary Marks is telling Ralph that she's also a bookkeeper. So Ralph hands over some of the business bookkeeping responsibilities to her. So now Rachel Lee and Mary Marks
The
are
AI did him
completely
dirty.
in charge of Ralph's finances. And then Rachel Lee sells off all his investments, and she's paying herself, she's paying Mary Marks, Rachel Lee's paying her own boyfriend, and they're all living a pretty baller lifestyle off of Ralph's money. And Rachel Lee, in particular, loves using Ralph's corporate credit cards to travel the world
And
with her boyfriend.
he doesn't
Here
notice
she is
any
in
of this?
Paris.
We're here in Paris on our anniversary at the Eiffel Tower, about to have dinner, 5-star restaurant.
Oh, but it gets much worse. Because one day, Mary Marks and Ralph, they agree to start a family. I mean, Ralph has always wanted to have a kid. I mean, someone to pass the tree farm on to. Now, here's where it gets really weird. They've been together for several years at this point, but they've never been intimate. Like, they've never smashed. Never. Nothing. No idea why. Regardless, they agree to get Mary Marks pregnant through IVF.
Dang,
so
he
she tells him to,
he
put
doesn't have
his
red flag
special sauce
alert in
a
his head?
cup, and she'll take it back to California to a doctor, and she'll use it to get fertilized. So they do.
Wait, they don't even live together? Why is she going back to California? What? Like, he doesn't notice anything's weird? Like, you don't live together?
Never been intimate. Like, they've never smashed. Never. Nothing.
And she doesn't
No
want to
idea
touch
why.
you?
Regardless, they
You don't
agree to
see the
get
signs?
Mary Marks pregnant through IVF. So she tells him to, put his special sauce in a cup, and she'll take it back to California to a doctor, and she'll use it to get fertilized. So they do that, and Mary Marks goes back to California with his special sauce, and she ends up pregnant. And around 9 months later, she comes back to Oregon.
Is it
with
even his
a
kid?
baby. Allegedly Ralph's son, who she names, and I'm not making this up, she names him Giorgio Armani, like the t-shirt. Regardless, Ralph is super happy.
Dang, that kid looks
he
scared.
loves his son. It's what he's always wanted. And she brings him up from California to visit all the time.
He misses you.
Wait, what? How are you gonna marry someone and... Like, why does she still live in California? And you have a kid with them, but she still lives in California? Like, he doesn't see the sign. What? What is going... They got married, so now she has the visa, so why are you still living separately in different states? And I don't even think this is his kid.
And he wants you to know it.
Okay, so here's the truth about Mary Marks. Are you ready for this? Mary Marks is not some random English exchange student in her 20s who just
I
happened to meet
couldn't
Ralph
guess.
one day at the airport. Mary Marks is actually Rachel Lee's biological daughter. And together, they're scamming poor Ralph. And by the way, Mary Marks is not in her 20s. She was 17 when she met Ralph back at the airport, and she was 19 when they got married. Ralph, of course, has no idea what her real age is. And her English accent?
Wait, what? Like, don't you need documents and stuff to get married? Don't they need to, like, see proof that you're actually who you are and all this stuff? He didn't look at anything. I don't understand. Okay, so there's a lot of problems with him too. So, like, how is he not seeing any of the signs? No red flags, no signs. He's just going along with everything. And you don't even live together.
Totally fake. Her blonde hair? A wig. Their marriage? Also fake. Like she didn't file any paperwork. It was all...
What? Like, when you file paperwork, aren't you supposed to be together as a couple or something? Like, you do it separately? Like, what's wrong with him? Like, I don't understand. And how do you not know it's a wig? Like, I guess they never touched each other, but something's wrong with him, too.
part of the scam. Even her name, Mary Marks, is a fake name. But here's the thing. Mary Marks really did get pregnant. Just
By
not
another
by
man.
Ralph. She got pregnant by her actual boyfriend back in California. But little Giorgio Armani is not her baby. Allegedly, her boyfriend wouldn't allow her to use her real baby, so she had to borrow a baby from a family member. She then took that family member's baby up to Oregon periodically to Ralph and told him that it's his son. So this baby in the video, calling him dad, is not his. And poor Ralph, he's unaware of
Dang,
all...
and you're messing with this kid's head, too, because why are you having him call another person their dad? Okay, that's weird. But, what's wrong with him? How are you gonna have a wife and a kid and you're not even separated? You just got married or something and you're not even living together? I don't understand people.
all of this. And if you're like, Ray, how could he fall for such an obvious scam? Well, I don't know. I'm not him. But I sincerely, respectfully think he might be on the spectrum. Plus, remember, he was desperately lonely, and he just really wanted to connect with someone, and someone finally came along. Anyway.
But also, out of everything that you could do, what year is this story? Because if you're lonely, why not just use a dating app? Like the free ones, the paid ones. Why would you go to a psychic to find love or find someone? I don't understand it. I don't know. And he ain't got no friends, no family? They don't side-eye this whole story?
But then things get
'Cause I am.
much worse for Ralph. Because one day, his elderly father passes away. So now the whole tree farm is his. So then Rachel Lee, who's still at this point managing his finances, she lies to him and she tells him he's actually broke and that he needs to pay his inheritance tax and that he'll need to sell his entire farm to pay off this debt. And so sadly, Ralph believes her and he
Was
does.
interrupted
He
by an
sells
ad.
his family farm that he loves for $12 million. And of course, Rachel Lee is controlling his money, and with this sudden influx of cash, she uses it to buy herself a lot of stuff. She buys herself another psychic shop, she invests in real estate in California, she buys her boyfriend an exotic car, Rolexes. I mean, these fake psychics are out of
Dang, all these people with like fast money like this, they spend it on weird things. Like people are that interested in like designer stuff and clothes and stuff. Like I feel like if I got a lot of money, like winning the lottery or something, I probably would just stay the same, just buy same stuff that I usually buy. Like I am not that interested in spending extra money on stuff that, I don't know. If you have the money, I guess do it, but I am not the one.
control. Until here's the thing to remember about this whole story. All of this takes place in a couple of different small towns in Oregon. And the thing about small towns is people in small towns
They talk.
tend to notice things. For example, that psychic shop where Rachel Lee does her readings, it suddenly has a white Ferrari parked outside all the time. And people in the town are like, how the f*** does anyone in this town afford a Ferrari, much less a local woman who does psychic readings? Like everyone around here drives pickup trucks. So then people start talking and neighbors start believing Ralph is getting scammed. And eventually local police get involved and they subpoena Ralph's financial records. And looking at his bank records, it looks like Ralph had bought a bunch of houses, an apartment complex, trips to Europe, a Bentley, a Ferrari. So police go to Ralph and they're like, hey Ralph, did you buy a Ferrari and all this other shit? And of course, Ralph was like, no. So, after 10 years, Rachel Lee and her
you were
daughter's
scamming for 10
finally
years.
starts to crumble. After these women had swindled almost $15 million from him. And poor Ralph, once police tell him that they scammed him, he just wants his money back that he was scammed out of. But he's such a nice guy that he really doesn't want Rachel Lee and Mary Marks to get in trouble because he still cares about them. Regardless, they eventually do get in trouble. And bam, Rachel Lee gets arrested. Here's her mugshot. And also, bam, Mary Marks gets arrested. Here's her mugshot. And they
Where's your
both
wig?
end up taking plea deals. But here's the thing, though. Even after the arrest, Ralph still refuses to believe any of this.
Wait, but like her boyfriend didn't get arrested because I'm pretty sure they knew what was going on. Because how you gonna get another baby that's not yours? So you wouldn't give up your baby to be part of this thing. So you knew what was going on. So aren't they part of it too? For knowing what was happening, they didn't do anything?
He still thinks Mary Marks is really this blonde woman from England who he just happened to meet at the airport who loves him. So, as part of her plea deal, police make Mary Marks sit in a room with Ralph and confess to him that she's a fraud, and they make her take her blonde wig off in front of him. Once she takes her wig off in front of him, he finally sees the truth, and he believes this woman scammed him. Anyway, Rachel Lee is sentenced to 9
Dang,
years.
the wig was the missing puzzle piece. Nothing else made you believe, but it was the wig.
Years in prison, and Mary Marks gets about 2.5 years.
Why is she
in
posing?
prison. And Rachel Lee's boyfriend, who was also involved, he gets 2 years in prison. And allegedly, even
What
after
about the baby
all
daddy?
that, for years after, Ralph still wore his wedding ring, as he really loved having a family, even if it was fake.
And he's not even really married, so dang. Even after the confession, why not get pets? Like, I don't understand. Because pets will be more loyal and they won't spend any money. And also use a dating app to find a real person, not through psychic. Anyway, that is the end of this video. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. Let me know what else I should react to in the comments below. And if you want to see my experiences in Korea, you can check out my first channel, Sexy V. And if you want to see my other socials, it's right here under my face. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. For this video, I'm going to be reacting to another Ray William Johnson video. This video is titled, "This YouTuber is Missing." That's kind of crazy. But also, this guy, I don't know, he reminds me of... Wait, did I react? I don't know. I've seen a video about someone, maybe it's not him, maybe someone else. They were like going to places in other countries that they shouldn't. I think they were in the Philippines or something, like living in an area where even like Filipino people don't want to live because of gangs and stuff. And I feel like he was like living there on purpose and like, I don't know, not following the warning signs or whatever. But is this him or someone else? Because I don't know. But let me just stop talking. Let's get into the video, and please subscribe. Let me know what else I should react to in the comments below.
So this YouTuber really wants to get out of the United States, and unfortunately, he ends up somewhere really dangerous. Now, his name's Eastman, and Eastman's 26, he's American, but he's not really doing much here. Like, he's an Uber driver sometimes. Bro really wants to get out. He wants an adventure.
Reading Rainbow.
So one day, he says, "Fuck it," and he leaves. And he flies from the U.S. 8,000 miles away to the Philippines. And there, he travels
How'd
over
I
to
know?
the mountains in
Oh.
Zamboanga del Norte. Here's the thing about that area.
So this
though.
is him?
It's really nice looking, but some parts of it aren't exactly safe. Some even refer to it as the red zone. Even the State Department warns American tourists to exercise increased caution when considering traveling there. But whatever, Eastman wanted a little adventure, and he seems to like it there. So there, he meets a local woman, and she speaks decent English, and so they start talking, and they hit it off, and Eastman thinks she is
I think there's a lot of people in the Philippines that speak English. So saying decent English is, I don't know, kind of interesting. When I think a lot of people there speak English. I don't know.
join. And eventually she becomes his girlfriend, so we'll just call her Girlfriend. And so Girlfriend takes him to her village to meet her family, and everything seems to be going well, and they end up getting engaged. And eventually they even get married. And this is actual footage of their Muslim wedding. I guess he converted to Islam for her. Now, Eastman has a YouTube channel, and there he starts documenting living in this new place that few foreigners will ever go to.
What up, you guys? I was just cooking, so that's why I got some charcoal on my face. I burnt my hand a little bit.
Now, on this channel, he mostly
Is that his
just
real
does
voice,
live
or is he,
streams and just talks
playing
to his
around?
audience. And he also has a TikTok account. And you can see one of his TikToks here. It's just him and his wife, and they're just like goofing around. Now, Eastman isn't necessarily rich by American standards, but in the Philippines, in that specific area, US dollars go really far. So in pesos, he has a small fortune.
I am renting this apartment here for 3,000 pesos each month.
And so he's renting this little apartment for like
Is it little?
$52 a month. And eventually he decides
Doesn't look
to
that little.
open a little grocery store right on the beach. And so Eastman, he starts building the store himself with his own two hands, and he stocks it, and he gets his Wi-Fi set up, and soon enough...
But, yeah, I guess it's his life, so he can live wherever he wants to live. But, yeah, myself, I would not want to go somewhere that has, like, high risk of crimes or something. And apparently he's rich in that area, so that's putting a target on his back.
business is up and running.
But yeah, bro, we got this huge store, massive store. I think we spent 43,000 pesos on all of it.
But despite how much he likes
How much
it
is that in
there,
dollars?
according to him, the area he's in actually isn't very safe for foreigners.
I've never seen any other foreigner here. Because it's dangerous. It's a dangerous area.
And sometimes when he and his wife are out and around, he has to hide from strangers.
Up and down the mountains and high.
That's crazy. Like,
Maybe it's a kidnapper.
if you have to hide where you're living, I think you should probably move, because that's scary. And yeah, like, why would you want to put yourself in that situation when you could live somewhere else, like in a more safer place? Like, he could probably just move to another island in the Philippines, but not sure why he wants to stay there. Maybe his wife wants to stay. I don't know.
Being scared here of dangerous people. I just have to hide. Looks like the guy had a gun. Some sort.
Regardless, he keeps living his life and doing his live streams. Now, if this were me, as an American, living in this apparently dangerous place, I would stop live streaming.
yeah.
I would stop drawing
People
any
know where you
attention to
live and
myself.
stuff.
The fewer people that know I exist, the better. Oh, but not Eastman. He seems to love to stream. I mean, he just keeps going. He keeps streaming multiple times every day.
Someone got
Not
a bucket
only
on the
that,
head.
On more than one occasion, he gets on live and he talks about money. Like, he's live and he mentions loaning out pesos.
That's the worst thing
to
you could do.
locals.
We lent him 21,400 and he came back with 23,500.
Yeah, that's not something I would do. But whatever. So far, he seems to be getting the adventure that he was craving.
He looks
in his
different in
life
all these AI
so
pictures.
badly. Until one day things start to go bad for him, and it starts
So,
with
in the beginning of this video, I like was guessing the story, and I think I heard about this, but I don't remember who I heard it from. Like, I know I saw it on YouTube somewhere, but I don't even remember who like did the news story. I don't know.
his little store gets robbed.
We got robbed last night.
What?
Yeah, our store. I think maybe somebody climbed through here because we left our money here from our store.
Why would you leave your money
Somebody
there?
came through here, or they came to the door. I don't really know, but
And yeah, that really sucks for him, and I don't know if it's his store getting robbed or if it's the constant hiding, but at some point, Eastman starts to get bummed out. And it's like the tone of his live streams takes a turn.
I feel like I've been staying in this area for so long to the point where people, I don't even know if people like me anymore. Maybe they want bad things to happen to me now.
And I don't
Time
know,
to
maybe he
move.
finally realizes that he put himself in a vulnerable position.
Like, what would happen somebody did try to come here and kidnap me, right? Would the neighbors help me, or would they just sit there and watch?
But every day, he seems to
Did he
feel
predict
worse.
Everybody's telling me right now, there's people out there planning to come get me, bro. People coming here to tell my family that there's people that want to kidnap me, or they're threatening to kidnap me, or stuff like that. Like every
You should
day.
leave.
And he even starts
Or he should have
suggesting to
left.
his wife that maybe moving here wasn't such a good idea.
I don't even think I'd want to come back here, to be honest with you.
And so, yeah, I mean, from his videos,
He's
it
not picking
seems
his nose
like
on
he's
camera.
ready to get the hell out of there.
As long as I'm here, my life is still at risk, you know? It's still at risk, that's a reality.
Like, I don't understand why he
It's at risk a little bit here, for sure. Especially
doesn't
the
leave.
area that I'm in, it's not even just the Philippines. It's like this area
Like,
that I'm
they
in
could
is
go back
like
to
the most
America, right?
dangerous area, one of the most dangerous areas in the Philippines, you know? It's literally like the red zone.
But then, one night, everything
So,
changes.
you know all this and you still
Eastman,
stay?
He's chilling at home, and he's live streaming like he always does, and one of his viewers asks if he's enjoying the Philippines.
There's some parts that I like about it, there's some parts that I don't.
Then, about 2 hours later, after that stream ends, Eastman, he's still there with his wife, and I believe some of his wife's family, and suddenly,
Okay,
shit
these
gets
AI
real.
pictures
and kaboom,
look creepy.
4 police officers bust through the door, and they got pew-pews, big ones, and they grab Eastman
Police
and they force him
officers.
outside. Here's the thing, though. These police officers, they're not police officers at all. They're
Oh.
actually kidnappers dressed as police officers. And it seems like Eastman knows this. Like he knows something's not right. And he's not going out without a fight. And so they struggle, and he fights back. And then
But they have
boom,
guns.
He breaks out, and he tries to run away. But the kidnappers, they're not going to let him go. And blam, one of them shoots him in the thigh. And then blam, he gets shot in the stomach. And then they grab him, and they drag him over to the shore where their speedboat is parked. And his poor wife, she's watching all this go down, and she's like screaming her head off. Then the kidnappers throw him in the boat, and then they all get in, and they speed away. As Eastman lays there, injured and bleeding out. And so immediately,
Wait, how did they know
word
all this
gets out about
information?
this, and the local police come and they launch a manhunt looking for the kidnappers, and they're going from house to house. They send a speedboat out to pursue the captors, but unfortunately, it's too late. The kidnappers are long gone, and there's no sign of Eastman anywhere. Meanwhile, on the boat, allegedly, Eastman tries to hold on, but eventually he succumbs to his wounds, and he ends up unalived. And so the
What?
men,
Really?
they pick up his body and they throw it to the ocean.
American vlogger.
Wait, but how did they... Oh, never mind. I was gonna ask, how did they know all that happened? But I guess they found a body.
Elliot Eastman, who was kidnapped in Zamboanga del Norte, is now feared dead.
Now, the good thing is that local police do eventually find and arrest 3 of the alleged kidnappers, but so far they haven't caught everyone who was involved. And as of
How
now,
did they find them?
still haven't recovered Eastman's body. So, why did these armed men dressed
The
like
money?
police officers suddenly bust into Eastman's house and kidnap him only to accidentally unalive him in the process? Well, as of right now, we unfortunately don't know. I mean, we know the 3 suspects are part of a criminal group, and one of the leading theories right now is that they targeted him because he's American, and they see him as a foreigner with money.
The kidnappers may have thought that he was a rich foreigner. Maybe he was coming from a wealthy family that could have provided a high ransom in exchange for his return.
Either way, that's a sad one, so...
Yeah, that's crazy because he seems like a nice guy, but... Like, there are warnings for a reason, but I guess some people don't want to listen to them. But yeah, like, for me, I was like, I would not want to live in an area, a red zone area, because why would I want to hide, like, when there are people walking by? That's kind of crazy. You have to hide because people, I don't know, like, people don't want you there. Like, that's crazy. So, I'm surprised he stayed there for that long, and also I'm surprised he didn't leave earlier, like before all this happened. But also they didn't find a body, so he could still be alive, maybe. I don't know, but hopefully he's fine if he's alive, and hopefully he can escape or go back to a normal life somewhere, not in that same area. But that is the end of this video. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. Let me know what else I should react to in the comments below. And if you want to see my experiences in Korea, you can check out my first channel, Sexy V. And if you want to see my other socials, it's right here under my face. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. For this video, I'm going to be reacting to another Ray William Johnson video. This is this doc. cannot read. This evil doctor is finally in prison. So, yeah, these stories, these crime videos, I guess not all of them are crime videos. I guess I haven't seen all of the videos, so I don't know if all of them are like crime videos or whatever. Criminal activity, I don't know, but apparently this one is, because he ends up in prison. I don't know what he did, but I guess I'll find out if I stop talking. So let's get into this video, and please subscribe. Let me know what else I should react to in the comments below.
So this guy, his name's James, and James is like the coolest old guy you've ever heard of. I mean, he's 63, he's a doctor, he's also an ex-Green Beret who
Turn it
fought
down a
in
little bit.
Vietnam and saved a bunch of people, so he's like a war hero. And if that isn't cool enough, he's also really into motorcycles. Yeah, he's one of those guys. But one day in 2011, it all changes, because he meets this guy, Ferdinand. And
Okay, another bike guy.
happens to be the head of a local chapter of the Pagan Motorcycle Club, which is like a well-known outlaw motorcycle gang, and they're supposedly bad news. But despite that, James and Ferdinand bond over their love of motorcycles.
Hey, I thought like bike gangs and stuff were just in movies, but I guess they're real. So it's just a gang that rides motorcycles and commits crimes or something, illegal stuff behind the scenes. I don't know, but I thought it was just in movies.
Stuff. And at one point, one of them comes up with this crazy idea. They want to go into business together. And since James is a doctor, they decide they're going to set up a drug ring to sell painkillers.
What I think. I mean, what I think.
Specifically, their
How'd I
plan
know?
is for Ferdinand to send drug users to James's office pretending to be his patients. And these fake patients will then pay James some money for the visit, or their insurance will cover it. Then James will write them a large prescription for OxyContin, and the fake patients will then go back to Ferdinand and give him his cut. And so they do this little scheme, and it works really well. And suddenly they're both making a ton of extra money, and no one suspects a thing because James is like this cool old guy and he's a respected physician, and no one's going to assume he's doing this.
Doing stuff
for
in his private
one
life.
person. One person gets really suspicious of James, and that person is this nice woman, April. April's 47, and she's James's wife. Not only that, she's also a
Why don't you start
popular
with
on-air
that?
host at the local radio station, and she's known to be very outspoken.
I love being here to bring you the truth. As unvarnished, as unpretty, unbuttered on the biscuit it is.
Now, we don't exactly know how, but at some point, April starts getting suspicious of some of the things James is up to. And she discovers that he is a big part of this motorcycle gang Oxy drug ring. And if that isn't bad enough, she also discovers that he's a big fucking liar. And that he's made up a bunch of stuff about his past. Like, he was never a Green Beret, he never fought in Vietnam, he never rescued a bunch of people, he lied about his service, and all his military...
How'd she find out about all that stuff just from uncovering the secret about the prescription scheme? Like, does he have a secret journal or diary? Like, I don't know, maybe she asked people, like, okay, you find out that he's doing this illegal thing, now how do you uncover all this other stuff?
tattoos and medals and his Green Beret stories, they were all made up
Is his name
to
even
make
James?
him sound like a cool guy. And so April finds all this out, and she's devastated. Like, how could he lie to me about all those things? And she has had enough. And she's like, I'm done. I want out of this relationship. He is no longer foreign. But James, he isn't ready to get divorced. And so they fight about it. And I guess he isn't going to grant her the divorce, which is just going to make the whole process way more difficult.
So she's going to throw him under the bus.
April's like, if you don't grant me this divorce, I'm going to tell everyone
Oh,
that you lied
wait.
about being a Green Beret in Vietnam and that you're involved in a drug ring with the Pagan Motorcycle Gang.
Oh wait, tell me this story doesn't end in murder, because I feel like a lot of these stories, there's like a twist at the end and someone ends up dead. So, hopefully she's still alive.
But here's the thing, her threatening to tell everyone is a big deal because she's a popular on-air radio host in that area. She's also very well known for having a lot of opinions, and at any time she could jump on the mic and ruin James's whole reputation. And obviously James can't have that. And he's like, if you tell anybody, I'll go nuclear on this family. But April's like, whatever, you're all talk. And while James acts all hardcore, deep down, he's super worried about her telling on him. And so he comes up with a plan to make sure she doesn't do that. He's gonna hire a hitman. And so he goes to Ferdinand and he's like, can you help me find someone to unalive my wife? And Ferdinand's like, alright. And they end up hiring a hitman. And the hitman they hire is this guy, who we'll just call Hitman. Now, Hitman is also a member of the Pagan Motorcycle Club, and he agrees to do this hit for $20,000. And so the plan is all set, and on the day it's supposed to go down, James leaves his house for work like he normally does. But this time, he makes sure to leave one of the doors unlocked. While April, she's still at home, and she has no idea what's coming. Meanwhile, Hitman is on his way to the house, and he gets there, and he gets out of his car, and he sneaks in through the unlocked door, and there, he finds April, and blam, he shoots her, and blam, he shoots her
I was
again,
hoping...
and then he leaves.
Dang it, I was hoping this story didn't end. Or did it have another, unaliving situation? Because I feel like a lot of these stories do have that, but I thought there was going to be one without it. Dang, R.I.P.
And later, a handyman shows up to the house to work, and he finds her body, and he reports it to the police. And so, police investigate.
Wait, what? Okay, so a handyman comes to the house. Do they usually walk into the house? Like, don't they knock or call or... Unless the door was wide open or something, I don't know. Like, even if the door wasn't locked, would they just walk in? Interesting.
And
I don't
they
know.
don't find anything. No fingerprints, no shell casings, no sign of forced entry, nothing stolen. So they got nothing to work with. Even James has a solid alibi. He was at work. And I guess police never really get any more leads after that because the case goes cold. Not only that, strangely, 18 months later, Hitman is messing around one day, doing a bunch of drugs, and he accidentally overdoses. And so, he's gone. Which sucks for him, but that's actually good news for James, because that's one less person who can connect him back to April's murder. And so now, it really looks like James
Then how do
pulled
people
off
find
the
out?
perfect hit, and he's gonna get away with everything.
Unless the guy that he asked, outed him, threw him under the bus.
Until
I'm trying to guess before he says...
years go by. And the governor of New Jersey at this time, this turd, Chris Christie appoints a new county prosecutor. And this new county prosecutor steps into his role, and he's immediately like, damn, why does this county have so many unsolved murders? And so he wants to try and get those numbers down. And he and his team pull some cold cases from the files that they think they can solve. One of those cases happens to be April's case. And so they dig into April's case, and they start looking at James. Because, you know, when investigating these things, it's always a safe start to look into the husband or the boyfriend as a suspect. Because generally they're guilty.
But why didn't they do that
they
in the first place?
James. And right now they don't really have much to go on, because remember, he had a solid alibi. But then they find out, separately from all this, separately from everything I've talked about so far, James is being investigated for some other kinds of medical fraud. I guess he was like selling compound cream medications for kickbacks, and apparently a couple of other schemes. Regardless, it doesn't matter, because it was illegal. And this alleged medical fraud is enough for police to get a search warrant. And boom, the police and FBI show up to James's office. And James is there, and he sees them coming
He's like,
outside, and he goes and he does the last thing anyone would expect.
He jumps.
He pulls out a pew-pew, and he's like, stay back or I'm gonna unalive myself. And shit gets real for a minute.
Okay,
But
so
eventually, police...
he randomly has a gun at work, at his office. Okay. Do clinics and stuff not have like metal detectors at the door or something? I don't know. But dang, this AI gun looks crazy. There's a hole facing down.
do talk him down, and bam, they arrest him. But not for being involved in April's murder, because it hasn't been proven yet. They arrest him for a weapons violation. And by the way, here's his mugshot.
The husband of a murdered South Jersey radio host is under arrest and now facing charges following a standoff with police.
Now, because of all this, police are able to get James's phone, and they get into it, and they see that he's connected to a guy named Ferdinand, and therefore, the Pagan Motorcycle Club. And so then James caves and he tries to save his ass by blaming everything on the pagan motorcycle.
That's wrong move, because he knows your secrets too, so they're gonna try to get him, and he's gonna spill all your beans.
And so police, they go to the pagan motorcycle gang and they're like, this guy's trying to blame this murder on you guys. And then some members of the pagan motorcycle gang come forward and they're like, nah, James was giving us OxyContin as part of a drug ring, and then he came to us wanting his wife unalived. And so with this new information, kaboom, they charge James.
Dang, he really thought that was gonna
first-degree
work.
Murder and some other stuff. And also, bam, they go and arrest Ferdinand for his involvement in all this. Here's his mugshot.
Prosecutors now say Dr. James Kaufman arranged the murder of his wife and used a biker gang to carry it out.
And so now James, he's in jail and he's waiting on his trial, and unfortunately, or fortunately, while he's there, he unalives himself with a bedsheet and he never faces trial. Ferdinand, on the other hand, he stays alive and he gets convicted and he's sentenced to life in prison.
Okay, so why would he think that was gonna work? Like, the person that you hired to find a hitman, you're gonna try to throw them under the bus? Like, they don't have information on you? Like, that doesn't make sense. Anyway, yeah, this is a crazy story. I thought she was gonna survive, but unfortunately she didn't. But yeah, that is the end of this video. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. Let me know what else I should react to in the comments below. And if you want to see my experiences in Korea, you can check out my first channel, Section V. And if you want to see my other socials, it's right here under my face. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. For this video, I'm going to be reacting to another Ray William Johnson video. His name is kind of like a tongue twister, Ray William Johnson. Maybe not, I don't know. But this video is huge alien abduction scam. So do you guys believe in aliens? I do, actually, but yeah, I'm not gullible. I feel like a lot of people are gullible when it comes to aliens. So like, if someone reports on something, I feel like they believe it right away. I don't know, I'm not that kind of person. I need more evidence to actually believe it. Like, if there's a UFO, I'm like, is it really though? I don't know. But unless I personally experience something, I'm not gonna believe what I hear on the news. So yeah, I probably wouldn't fall for a scam. But yeah, I do believe in aliens. There has to be something else out there besides us on Earth. But anyway, let's see what the scam was, and let's get into the video. And please subscribe. Let me know what else I should react to in the comments below.
One night in Arizona, it's late, and a logging crew, they're driving back to town after a day at work. And suddenly, boom, they see a super bright light in the sky shining down on them through the gaps in the trees. And the guys, they're all like, what the hell is that? So they drive closer to the source of the light and they stop.
What year is this?
It might be a flying saucer or something.
I know this is AI pictures and stuff, but the pictures are usually they're usually made from actual pictures that he uses to make the video. But yeah, everything, the way they look is giving maybe 80s, 70s, 80s.
And one of the guys, his
Oh,
name's
no.
Travis, he jumps out of the truck and he starts walking toward the light. And he stands under the saucer right in the spotlight. And suddenly, pow, another beam of light hits Travis and it sends him falling backwards. And he's knocked unconscious. And his coworkers, they're still in the truck and they panic and they're like, oh shit, and they speed away. Then,
Okay, good, because I thought it was going to be like a scary movie when they just stand there and watch, waiting for something else to happen to them. Like, I would run. Like, if you've been taken already, I'm sorry, I'm gonna run.
time later, Travis
Sorry to my
wakes
friends.
up, and he's lying on a raised table inside what appears to be a metallic room. And he notices he's surrounded by 3 creatures, aliens, and they're all looking down at him. And Travis freaks out and he jumps off the table and he grabs a cylinder object and he starts swinging it around, hoping that they'll back.
Oh, it's interrupted by an ad. I was gonna say something. So I was gonna say, I don't even think aliens look like this. Like, if aliens are real, like, I feel like this is just a made up image of what people would think aliens look like. Just like Santa Claus. Santa Claus ain't real, but we have a picture of what Santa Claus looks like. So, like, I feel like this is just a random image that we use for aliens, but it could be probably anything else besides that.
Back off, and they do. Then Travis leaves the room through an exit.
Why does he look like Pedro Pascal? Is that him?
And he eventually ends up in a different room, and there
Okay,
he
wow,
meets a
AI.
different kind of alien. This one actually looks human. So this humanoid alien escorts him to a different structure with 3 more humanoid-looking aliens, and they lay him down on a table, and they place a breathing mask over his face, and he passes out. Sometime later, he wakes up, and he's lying on the highway in the middle of nowhere, about 30 miles from where he was abducted. And it felt like he had only been gone a few hours, but in reality, he had actually been gone 5 whole days. And he's confused, but he walks to the nearest...
Wait, did people kidnap him and he thinks they were aliens? Is this a prank?
phone booth he can find, and he calls someone to come pick him up. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Ray, an alien abduction story? Did this really happen? Well, to figure that out...
They didn't take his money to call
So one night in
on the
Arizona,
payphone.
it's late, and a logging crew, they're driving back to town after work. And suddenly, boom, they all see a super bright light through the gaps in the trees. And Travis, he gets out, and pow, a beam of light hits him, and it sends him falling back.
What is this? Why are we repeating the same thing? What?
Backwards. And his coworkers in the truck, they panic and they speed away.
Y'all saw that? I didn't rewind. Look, it's been 2 minutes in. We gonna watch 2 more minutes of this?
And about 15 minutes later, the coworkers in the truck, they're like, damn it, we shouldn't have left him. We have to go back. So they go back, and it's really
Okay, so this is part 2 of the story.
dark, and they don't find anything. No Travis, no bright light in the sky, nothing. So what can they do? They alert the police. And police are like, so your friend got zapped by a bright light in the sky and now he's missing? Okay. So police go and...
Also, if I ever had an encounter with an alien, I don't think I'd tell anyone. Because 1, they probably wouldn't believe me. And 2, I don't know. I feel like it would have too many questions that I don't want to answer. Like, I ain't got time for that.
And they search the area and they don't find anything, and they start looking at these guys like they murdered Travis and are just making up this whole crazy story to cover it up. So then police require all 6 of these co-workers to take a polygraph test, which it's now known that polygraph tests are like total pseudoscience bullshit, but this is all happening in 1975. So
How did I know? I said 70s or 80s. Dang, I'm good. But yeah, I feel like lie detector tests aren't accurate, so I feel like the more accurate thing is to get them drunk, because the truth comes out when you drink, because so many people talk a lot when they drink, so it's easier for them to spill the beans. Just get them drunk. That's the more truth serum than lie detector
This
test.
time, police are still using them. So anyway, 6 of these guys take a polygraph, and they're asked about whether or not they murdered Travis, and 5 of them pass the test, and 1 of them actually doesn't. Then, a few days later, that's when Travis returns. He wakes up about 30 miles from where he was abducted, and he walks to a payphone, and he calls someone to pick him up. And from there, they take Travis to a hospital, and he's fine, he's not hurt, but of course,
Now he looks like that other actor. What's his name? Dang, I don't know his name. He was older with the white hair and a mustache.
Everyone wants to know what really happened to him. Did he really get abducted by a flying saucer or something? And so Travis starts telling his story, and the media is all over this news because it's fascinating and kind of crazy.
Oh, there's the actual pictures. Let's see, let's see. Wait, is it? Yeah, I think so.
Fascinating and kind of crazy. And ultimately, he ends up taking 2
Pedro Pascal.
polygraph tests himself. 1 he passes and 1 he fails because, again, it's total pseudoscience. Regardless, he's getting hit up by reporters. And the National Enquirer interviews him and his co-workers, and they pay them a few $1,000s each for their story. And this is actually a photo of them each.
Okay, so I'm guessing this is him. But dang, I didn't know people got paid for interviews.
Holding up a check that they got. And then that story comes out, and boom, now they're all semi-famous. And Travis, he seems to be all about it. Like, he's doing interviews, he goes on TV, he's speaking at UFO conventions, and he writes a whole ass book about his experience. And eventually, that book gets turned into a movie called Fire in the Sky. And I'm not gonna lie, when I was a kid, that movie scared the shit out of me, for real.
Never seen it.
But anyway, after all that, after Travis's crazy experience in that UFO for 5 days, his story becomes the most famous alien abduction story in American history. Until 46 years after the abduction.
Okay, oh, I was about to do the math, but he did it for me.
2021. And Travis, he's much older, but he's still out there, he's talking about this, he's still speaking at alien UFO conventions. He even goes on the Joe Rogan podcast and tells his story.
They came around the table and the three of them were coming towards me.
And bro hasn't changed his story at all, like he's still running with it. But then, one day, all that changes. Because one of his old co-workers...
Were his co-workers in on this prank? Like I said earlier, like, did they kidnap him and make him believe they were actually aliens? But were his coworkers the ones that did this to him?
This guy, Mike gets mad at Travis.
Oh.
Mike was the one who was driving the truck that night.
Why you mad?
Apparently, there's a remake of the movie Fire in the Sky in some stage of development. And Travis was allegedly trying to cut Mike out of this deal. And so Travis and Mike, they get into it.
Don't tell me. All these videos that he makes, someone dies. Don't tell me someone's gonna die. Not again.
And Mike gets mad, like really mad. So, after all these years...
But why are you trying to cut him out? Like, I don't understand. He's part of the story too. He drove the car. Like, I don't understand.
Playing along with this alien UFO story, Mike goes on Facebook one day and he drops a bomb. He makes a post saying, "I, Michael Rogers, hereby give notice that I am no longer to be considered a witness to Travis's alien supposed abduction story."
Oh.
And then he later clarifies in a reply comment saying, "I don't believe Travis is an honest person, and therefore I want nothing to do with him." Not only that, at some point, Mike is on a phone call with a movie producer who's working on some other movie project.
Okay, this movie producer looks like Joe Rogan.
About Travis's abduction, and on this call, Mike doesn't know he's being recorded, and he admits the whole thing was a hoax.
Because we were talking about creating a UFO hoax, okay?
Yeah.
I don't know how the UFO got there, okay? But I remember when I was driving the truck and he jumped out, it was all deliberate. It was all a staged thing, okay?
What you're saying is you and Travis together hoaxed this.
Yeah. Travis's brother Dwayne helped him.
Now, to be fair, later Mike tries to walk back that explanation, but unfortunately it's too late.
Oh.
He already admitted it was all fake on record.
Okay, so ain't nobody got kidnapped like I thought. They just made up the whole story.
And so UFO nerds everywhere hear this news and they're like, "No, it can't be! We thought it was real!" So, how did these two unassuming logger guys from Arizona fake a whole ass UFO abduction? Well, they've never gone into detail about how they faked it, but here are some leading theories that I sort of like pieced together. So all of his life, Travis has always been sort of a UFO enthusiast. He talks openly about seeing flying saucers and about wanting to be abducted by aliens. And he's also apparently a known prankster and bullshitter. And one day,
Dang, he needs to get on TikTok because all these fake pranks on TikTok. He can make his money that way.
In 1975, he and Mike, they get an idea to pull off this UFO hoax and prank everyone, including some of the other co-workers who were in the truck. They allegedly weren't in on this. And the theory is that they had someone with a spotlight sitting up in a lookout tower. And lookout towers sit above the trees and they look like this. And when it's dark, you can't really see them. And there actually just happens to be a well-known lookout tower in that area that Travis was abducted in. And so anyway, they're driving home that night and they have another friend in the lookout tower shine the spotlight down on them in the truck. And they stop the truck and Travis gets out to investigate while Mike, who's driving the truck, he pretends to freak out. And this freaks all the other co-workers out and Mike drives away. Because remember, none of the other co-workers said they saw a flying saucer specifically. They said they saw a bright light in the sky, which technically they did, likely a light in a lookout tower. And as far as the whole Travis meeting aliens part, I mean, there were no witnesses to that other than Travis himself, so that makes it easy to just make that up. So apparently it was all fake. Sorry, UFO.
Okay, so yeah, like I said in the beginning, unless I personally experience an alien encounter, I'm not gonna believe anything I hear online, because people like to make stuff up. People like to do stuff for attention, and we saw it. But did he get sued? Because he had all these people believing him, people buying his books, watching the movies. Like, are they still gonna make that second movie? Because now that we know it's fake, he really fooled a lot of people. So is there like a lawsuit against him? Does he have to give back Does he have to give back money that he earned from all of this? I don't know. But that is the end of this video. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. Let me know what else I should react to in the comments below. And if you want to see my experiences in Korea, you can check out my first channel, Section V. And if you want to see my other socials, it's right here under my face. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. For this video, I'm gonna be if I can speak, I'm gonna be reacting to another Ray William Johnson video. This is Her Boyfriend is Trash. I'm not sure why, but also I don't know why this thing is loading right now, but hopefully when I press play, it plays. But yeah, I don't know even what to guess, so let us start the video, and please subscribe. Let me know what else I should react to in the comments below. But also, a lot of his videos, people get unalived at the end, so hopefully that is not the case in this video. Play.
So this is Ashley, and Ashley is about to move overseas to be with the man of her dreams. And it's about to
how
go
yummy.
horribly wrong. Now this all starts back when Ashley is 12, and she's a normal 12-year-old. And she's from Canada, and like a lot of kids her age, Ashley likes to chat online with her friends through like social media and stuff. And one day,
her parents
she
know.
makes a new friend on Facebook. This guy, Jack. And Jack is 16, and he lives in England. And Ashley thinks Jack is cool. I mean, he's a little older, he's from another country, but they're just friends. So then a few years pass, and Ashley is 15 now. And she and Jack are still friends, and they
so
still
he's 19.
chat online. But at this point, they've both grown up a little bit, and Ashley is starting to think he's kind of fine. And so, boom, they start dating. And it's a long-distance relationship, and they've never met in person. I mean, he's still in England, and she's in Canada.
So I'm guessing this is her first boyfriend. But your first boyfriend is someone that you are talking to online. You haven't met them in person. It's kind of weird.
But still, she really likes him.
But I guess at that age it's fine, but still kind of weird.
More years pass, and that
okay, now she's
everything changes.
She's over 18.
Ashley is now 19.
Okay.
So she's legally an adult. And Jack is like 22 or 23 at this point. And they're still dating, and they decide to give this a real shot to see if this relationship can work for real, not just long distance, not just online.
They were dating for 4 years.
Ashley, she gets a 6-month tourist visa, and she books a flight to England because she's gonna go live with him for 6 months until her.
Okay, so where are her parents in all this? In this story, I have not heard anything about her parents. And she got a 6-month visa to just... Oh, 6-month tourist visa. Because I'm pretty sure she could... If she was in school, she could be an exchange student. But I guess not.
Her visa expires. And of course, her mom is a little concerned that she's going to live with a guy she's never met in person. But unfortunately, there's no stopping Ashley.
What year is this?
She's determined to see this through. So she does. She flies from Canada all the way over to the UK. And there, she's finally in England, and she meets her boyfriend, Jack, for the first time in person. And this is actually their first photo together. And so they follow through with their plan. She moves into his apartment, and they're...
But also, like, meeting someone online and dating them for 4 years and never meeting them in person. Like, not just her, but, like, in general, like, those shows on TV, 90 Day Fiancé or whatever, like... meeting them for the first time, like meeting someone in person and then like dating, I feel like is better because you can actually interact with them in person. But meeting someone for the first time after you get attached to them and then you meet them for the first time, like what if they stink? Like what if their breath stank? I always wondered about that. Like what if you meet someone and they smell bad or something? Like you still gonna stick with that? Because like, I don't know, random question, random thought, but like what if they, I don't know, what if they're weird in person? Like what if they smell, or I don't know, like you're attached to them, would you care? I don't know.
Having a great
have no
time
idea.
together. This is actually a photo of them, and this is another photo of them. But then about a month passes, and it's Christmas time, and Jack, he's being such a good boyfriend. He goes out and he gets a tree, and he surprises Ashley with a kitten, and she really loves cats. And so
She's
all
not
of
there
this
forever.
Seems to be going really well, better than they had planned.
6 months, 5 months left.
Until... Okay, here's the thing about Jack. Jack, he's kind of a turd. Like, he's unemployed, he lives in public housing on government assistance, he apparently smokes Zaza all day and plays video games, no ambition, no real attempts at getting a job, just not a lot.
She didn't know about this before. She went all the way to England to meet this man that has no job. Okay.
Going on for him. And I don't know if any of this bothers Ashley or not, but what does start to bother her is how controlling he's become since she's moved in. Like, he'll get mad if he thinks she's talking to anyone else. He'll get mad at her for being on TikTok.
One of those people.
A few days after Christmas, Jack is going through her phone for some reason, and he finds some numbers that she blocked. And he gets all jealous, and he assumes that she blocks these numbers because they're her former lovers or something. I don't know. It's stupid. Regardless, they start arguing, and Jack suddenly just snaps, and he straight up starts smacking her around. Now, no one should be smacking anyone around. That's horrible in itself. But also, he is significant.
And also, I hear a lot of these stories, not the abusive part, but like just these possessive guys, which is so weird. Like, I don't understand. But she's kind of stuck because she flew to another country to meet this person that she met for the first time. But like in general, like sometimes girls, or I guess anyone, they stay with these over possessive people for what reason, I don't know. It's so weird. But yeah, I have a friend that would tell me stuff about this possessive guy, and they weren't even boyfriend and girlfriend. They were just talking. So it's so weird that people would, because my friend's smart, she left like we're not even together and I don't want to be stuck with that kind of person. But people that are actually dating these kind of people, like, why do you stay? I don't understand.
Significantly bigger than her. I mean, you can see them in this picture here. So when he puts his hands on her, it doesn't take much force for him to really hurt her. Now, despite this, unfortunately, Ashley doesn't leave him like I wish she would have. However, from that day, things
What did I just
start
say?
to feel different. Like, she still loves him, but maybe Jack isn't the guy she thought he was. Then, a few weeks later, things get crazy again. Like, Jack is all jealous, and he's going through her phone again.
Again?
He finds some old messages on her phone, and these are messages...
See, she could have left after this first time, but I don't know why people stay. She could have snuck out with her stuff and then fly back home.
that are back from when she lived in Canada, so yeah, they're old.
And why does her phone not have a lock on it? Why is he all up in her phone? I have so many questions. Will I get answers? No.
Care. He gets pissed, and they start arguing, and he starts yelling, and he picks up a beer mug, and boom, he breaks it over her head. It's just trash. And this whole time, all this is going on, Ashley is lying to her mom, like, no, Mom, I'm totally happy here. I don't know, I guess she doesn't want her mom to hate her boyfriend. I don't know.
She should be the one hating him.
As time goes on, Jack gets more and more abusive. Like, he's been spying on all her texts.
She
so
needs to
has
run
be careful
away.
about all the messages she sends her friends so that they don't get misinterpreted by him. Like, some messages she has to send and then quickly delete before he sees them. It's crazy. Also,
Lock
she
your phone.
slowly
I don't
stops
understand.
talking to her family so much. And her family and friends, they can tell something is off, but they're halfway across the world back in Canada. So they're not like 100% sure what's going on. However, pretty quickly, they start to figure it out. Like, one day, Ashley is at the apartment talking to her sister on FaceTime. And Jack, he gets mad at her for some dumb reason, and he suddenly just flips out. And he starts throwing things at her and screaming at her.
Oh,
and
well, she's on the she's on the call.
Ashley, why don't you just come home? But still, Ashley won't. I guess she's in love, or maybe she's afraid.
That's crazy.
But about a week later, Ashley's on FaceTime with her sister again. And Jack, he's all mad at her again, and he suddenly flips out again, and he runs at her, and he tackles her, and he starts punching her in the head. And sister, she's still on FaceTime watching all this, and she's like, what the fuck? And so at this point, sister has had enough. She can't let this continue. And she goes and she tells their mom what she saw. And of course, mom is like, oh, hell no. And she immediately calls Ashley, and she's like, we're getting you a flight, and you're coming home. And so finally, they all agree. Ashley is getting out of that toxic situation. She's getting on the next flight back to Canada. Even Jack agrees. I mean, he understands that she's leaving.
Okay, why would you tell him? Because after all these times, you think he's going to be okay with it? Because there's still some time left in this video. I feel like it's not going to end the way I want it to end, like her getting home peacefully. She should have just left like in the middle of the night or something, because I feel like he's not going to agree.
Leaving on the next flight. However, there's a problem. It's 2022, and the pandemic is still kind of going on. And Ashley is required to get a negative COVID test before she can get on a plane and fly international. And so, unfortunately, she can't fly that day. The soonest she can fly is in 3 days. But then, the next day, it all goes wrong. So they're at the apartment, and I guess Jack isn't doing too well, and he finally realizes that he's about to lose control of her for good. And so he provokes an argument with her, and they start fighting. And I'm sure he's like screaming at her, and then pow, he starts hitting her. And he hits her again and again. And then he picks up the kitten that he bought and he throws it against the wall. And Ashley is horrified, and she runs out of the apartment to a neighbor's house, and the neighbor intervenes, and everyone calms down. But Ashley knows this isn't over, and Jack isn't done. So after a bit, she low-key tries to message her sister back in Canada. But unfortunately, with the time difference, it's like 3 a.m. there. So sister and everyone else there is asleep. And at some point during all this, Jack finally loses it. And he grabs Ashley, and she tries to get away.
Dang, it's this AI picture.
Then he reaches out, grips her neck, and he starts strangling her hard. And when that doesn't finish her off, he grabs a knife and
oh my gosh,
her right in the chest. And he stabs her again and again and again until she's unalived. And he ends up stabbing her 90 times. 90.
It's crazy.
Then he goes to his Facebook page and he changes his profile picture to this picture of him and Ashley smiling. And he writes
something wrong with him.
Mine forever. Yikes. Meanwhile, back in Canada, Ashley's family wakes up to all these missed messages from her. But now they can't get a hold of her. So they reach out to sort of a friend that Ashley knows back in England, and that friend goes over to Jack's apartment to check on Ashley, and she knocks and no one answers, but she can hear something going on inside the apartment. So she calls 999, the emergency number there, and then police show up, and in the apartment, they find Ashley's body there. And so, bam, police arrest Jack. Here's his creepy-ass mugshot. And he ends up pleading guilty to her murder, and he's sentenced to 23 years to life in prison.
A British man
I was about to say only 23 years.
Sentenced to life in prison for killing a young BC woman who'd gone to visit him in England.
It's sad.
That is crazy. Like RIP to her. But yeah, this is why it's so dangerous to meet people online, especially you don't know how they act in person. So especially going across the world or going to another country to meet someone, in person for the first time, like, you don't know how they're gonna react or how they are in real life, because they could be a different person online and a different person in person. So yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, I don't understand people that are over possessive, because you don't own anyone. But yeah, she almost got away, but unfortunately COVID. Dang. But that is the end of this video. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. Let me know what else I should react to in the comments below. And if you want to see my experiences in Korea, you can check out my first channel, SexGV. And if you want to see my other socials, it's right here under my face. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. For this video, I'm going to be reacting to another Ray. I don't know why his name is like a tongue twister for me. Ray William Johnson. So this is She Wants to Steal Your Baby. Because that's weird, because do people just not know how to be normal? Because, like, why would you want to steal someone else's baby? That's not yours. Like, that's weird. Like, you have nothing better to do. I don't understand, but I guess let's start the video, see what this is about. People being weird. I don't understand. But yeah, please subscribe. Let me know what else I should react to in the comments below, and let's get into this.
This woman, her name's Anne, and Anne has a problem. She really wants a baby, but unfortunately she can't seem to have one. She tries and she keeps having miscarriages. So eventually Anne gets an insane idea. Why not just steal one? So one day in 1987,
that's weird.
She does just that.
Like, you can't adopt? Why not just adopt? That's weird. And if you don't have, I think for adoption you have to pay money. If you don't have enough money to adopt, then maybe you don't have enough money to raise a child, because kids are expensive. So yeah, not everyone is meant to be a parent, because some people are crazy or weird, and some people, like, they don't take care of their kids. So, like, what's the point of having the kid? And also, some people, they have all these kids, but I feel like they don't have enough money to support their child. So, like, you should give your child the best life. So, I don't know. Might be an unpopular opinion, but some people aren't meant to have kids. Like, it's said that she had miscarriages, but like, she could have just went to adoption instead of trying to steal a child. I don't know. Some people, I feel like they have kids, but they don't even have enough money to support themselves. So, like, they shouldn't have kids in the first place. But yeah, like I said, unpopular opinion. But yeah, some people aren't meant to have kids.
She dresses up as a nurse, and she goes down to the local hospital, and she starts hanging out.
Especially her, because, like, if your idea is to steal a kid, then something is wrong with you mentally. So, like, why would you even, I don't know, like, should you be raising a kid if this is what is going through your head?
Pass herself off as a hospital employee. And after about 3 weeks of doing this, she finally spots a baby she might be able to swipe. And the baby's name is Nettie. And Nettie's 19 days.
And no one at this hospital, like, noticed that she wasn't working there? Like, don't you know who your coworkers are? Or maybe it's a big hospital, you don't know everyone, but dang, where'd she get the clothes from?
Days old, and she's in the hospital for treatment. She
don't you need a name tag?
Infection or something. And so anyway, now Anne wants Nettie. And so she waits. She waits around for the right moment. And around 3 a.m., when the hospital staff's shifts are changing, boom, she nabs Nettie out of her unit, and she casually walks out of the building with her, and no one suspects a thing. Then she takes her from New York City, where the hospital is, up to Connecticut, where she lives. Meanwhile, back at the hospital, pretty quickly the staff discovers there's a whole ass baby missing. And they're freaking out. They're like, yo, someone stole a baby.
What happened to her hair?
They go and get a description of Anne from a few witnesses, but other than that, they got nothing. This was the perfect baby heist. So then police have to call and alert the parents, Nettie's real parents. And of course, the parents are freaking out too. But unfortunately, it's too late. Anne is long gone. She's already got the baby she wants because she's
So
about
how'd
to
she get
raise
caught?
her as her own. And many years pass, and Nettie grows up in Anne's household, and she lives a fairly normal.
Okay, so she had enough money to move to another place, but she doesn't have money to adopt and get a child legally. That's so
normal
weird.
life, believing this whole time that Anne is her real mother. And yeah, sometimes she'll ask her about her real dad, and Anne tells her that her real father is a drug dealer she used to date who's now in prison. So that excuse covers that. Now eventually, Nettie grows up a little more, and she becomes a teenager, and she's in high school. And it's during this period
Okay,
she starts
that's a
to
scary
notice
AI
she
image.
looks nothing like Anne, or like any of her other family members. But whatever, I suppose that happens sometimes. But the older she gets, the more this
Why are these AI images kind of creepy?
bothers her. And eventually she starts to get a little suspicious. And then one day, she's 16 at this point, she's still in high school, and boom, Nettie gets some surprising news. She's pregnant. I guess she had a little boyfriend for a while, and I guess he got her pregnant. Now, pregnancy and kids are really expensive, but Nettie finds out that she can apply to get free prenatal care from her state. All she needs to do is apply and provide some official documents, including her birth certificate.
She ain't got
So
that.
she goes to her mom, and she's like, "Mom, I need my birth certificate." And Anne's like, yeah, I'll handle it. But then, as the days go by, Anne doesn't handle it. And so Nettie reminds her again and again. I mean, this is very important to her, but her mom keeps brushing her off. And eventually Nettie just gets tired of waiting, and she's like, "Oh, fuck this." And she low-key starts going through Anne's stuff. And she ends up finding a document with her name and date of birth on it. And yeah, good enough. So she takes it to the county office to try and use it to get a copy of her birth certificate. And so she's there and she gives this document to the clerk, and the clerk checks their system and is like, ma'am, we can't find any record of you." And Nettie's like, "Do what now?" And the clerk's like, "There's no record of you." And Nettie gets pissed. Like, what do you mean they can't find a record of her? And so a supervisor has to come and intervene, and supervisor's
Is this
like,
too loud?
Not only is there no record of you, this document you gave us is fake. And he straight up accuses Nettie of trying to fake her identity. And so naturally, Nettie gets mad, and she leaves, and she goes home. A few days
All right,
later,
where's the police?
Anne finally agrees to tell Nettie what the hell is going on. Why she doesn't have a real birth certificate, and why there's a fake document with her name on it. So that night, she comes into Nettie's room, and she just starts crying. And that's when she tells her she's not her biological mom. But she says your real mom left you and never came back. And to make it worse,
She
doesn't
lying.
tell her much else. Like, she says her real mom was a drug addict who abandoned her, and then she just kind of ends on a cliffhanger. And Nettie's like, what the fuck? And so for months, Nettie begs her mom for more information, but Anne won't really give it. She's just like, I don't remember. And a whole year goes by. And eventually Nettie's like, whatever, I'm gonna figure out the truth myself. And she starts investigating. And she's like asking her other relatives what happened all those years.
Wait, what year is it? She has a cell phone? Oh, wait, 1987. She was stolen in 1987, so I guess she's 16 now. Wait, how old is she? She's pregnant, 16. 16, right? So, it's like 2003 ish. I don't know, maybe it's just the AI generated images, but were there laptops at that time? Were there cell phones? I know there were cell phones, but not like this, but I don't know.
Years ago, and those other relatives are like, yeah, I guess I remember Anne being pregnant, I don't know. And she reaches out to the Department of Children and Families, and she asks them if they can, like, run her DNA to see if it's a match to anyone, and they're like, nah, we don't really do that. And so Nettie is getting nowhere. Her mom's no help, her relatives are no help, and the state is no help. So it
Call the
looks like
police.
she's just never gonna know the truth. Until 7 years go by, and she's 23 now. And at this point,
Okay, so yeah, I think my math was right because she was pregnant at 16, 7 years go by, that's 23. So I guess it's 2010 now, 2010.
long had her baby, she's moved to a different city, and she started her adult life. But of course, she still wonders, what the hell was Anne talking about? Who was her real mom, who's supposedly a drug addict who abandoned her when she was born? Then, one night, she finally gets a lead. She's messing around on the internet, looking for answers, and she goes to the website for the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, where they have a database of kids who have gone missing from all over the country. And this database goes way back, for decades. And so she's combing through this database, and that is when, boom, she sees it. A picture of a little baby girl. A girl who was around her age and who went missing back in 1987.
That's the
right
real
around
picture.
the period when she was born. Not only that, this baby looks identical to her own baby. So Nettie knows she's looking at a picture of herself. And so eventually, she calls them. She calls the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children's hotline, and she asks them to help her sort all this out. And they agree to help. And pretty quickly, they reach out to Nettie's real, actual, biological mom. Her name is Joy. And so they reach out to Joy, and they're like, I think we found your missing daughter from 23 years ago. And Joy's like, no fucking way. So then Nettie and Joy, they start communicating and emailing back and forth, and soon they're talking on the phone all the time. And eventually, Nettie flies from Atlanta to New York to meet her real mom in person. And she also gets to meet her real dad. This guy's name's Carl. And here's an actual picture of Nettie, Joy, and Carl together. And later, the DNA results come back, which confirm that they are, in fact, her real biological parents. So, that's cool. Then, of course, this story gets out, and it blows the fuck up, because it's an incredible story. But now, with all this attention on it, the FBI gets involved. Because
arrest
this
her.
all started 23 years ago with
Arrest
a
her.
kidnapping. So now everyone's looking for Anne. And after hiding out for a while, eventually, bam, she turns herself in to the FBI. Here's her mugshot.
The woman who allegedly kidnapped the baby 23 years ago here in New York is finally under arrest.
And Anne ends up pleading guilty to kidnapping, and she's sentenced to 12 years in prison. Meanwhile, Nettie and her real biological parents sort of have like a public falling out, but then they make up, so I think they're fine now, so good for them. And by the way, here's what Nettie looks like today in real life.
Wait, so she was 23 in 2010. So, 15 years later, she's 38. Yeah, she's 38 now.
And a huge shout out to
So, yeah, this is like one of the few videos of his that doesn't end in murder. But, yeah, that's crazy. Like, why did not that lady not just adopt? Like, go the legal route? Like, that's crazy. Like, I don't understand people. But, yeah, I'm glad that she found her biological family. But also, the woman that raised her, that stole her and raised her, did she just cut her off completely? Like, I don't know. And yeah, how old is her daughter now? She had her daughter 2004 or something, I guess. Dang, so her daughter's probably like 21 now. Okay. But yeah, it's a crazy story, but luckily it ended happily. I don't know what that was about, like the public falling out. Not sure what that was about. I guess, I don't know, you meet these new people that are your actual parents, but they didn't raise you, so maybe there was just, I don't know, differences. But yeah, glad that they I guess they're still good now. But that is the end of this video. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. Let me know what else I should react to in the comments below. And if you want to see my experiences in Korea, you can check out my first channel, Sexy V. And if you want to see my other socials, it's right here under my face. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. For this video, I'm going to be reacting to this Ray William Johnson video. This preacher finally got exposed. But yeah, I'm not sure what the exposing was for, because sometimes these, I guess, religious leaders, they hide behind their religion to act like the good person, but behind the scenes they're like, he looks evil in this picture, so I don't know. But yeah, they're doing stuff behind the scenes that normal people don't do, such as I don't know, stealing money or doing bad things to I don't know, I guess women or like kids. I don't know what they're doing. I'm not gonna assume right now, but I guess I'll find out when I stop talking and watch the video. So let's get into the video, and please subscribe. Let me know what else I should react to in the comments below.
This preacher loves his religion. He also loves money, and this
Oh,
scam is about to
it's
make
about
him
money.
super rich. His name is Peter, and Peter generally travels around the United States preaching in various venues. He also preaches on the radio a lot. But then, in 1982...
Yeah, I also wonder, like, how do all these, like, preachers and pastors with these mega churches and stuff, how do they become so rich? Because I know people donate money to the church, but I thought the church, or the money, was for, like, materials that they need or for, like, donations. But are they just transferring the money to their accounts?
Everything
I don't know.
changes for him
Like, how do they get
because he
paid
starts preaching
so much
on
money?
TV. And there, he can see right away that he's gonna make a ton of money off this. And so he comes up with this insane scam. Now, the first part of this is he gathers these huge congregations to preach to. Then he starts faith healing. Like, he pretends he can heal people with his hands.
Fake.
He'll heal the blind.
I don't understand how people
cancer,
believe this.
just by touching someone.
Glory to God, there it is. I tell you, a release, a divine release of God's...
Okay, so I think I have seen these videos, and people actually believe. I don't understand why people are so gullible. I really don't understand.
People believe this, and they'll come from all over the country to get healed.
Here it comes in the mighty and the matchless name of Jesus. Restoration!
Like, these have to be
Finds a
paid
lot of
actors or
success
something.
doing this. And people are watching this on TV, and they're donating. So now, bro is really starting to get paid. Oh, but that's not the only part of this scam. The other part is during his sermon, he'll call out the names of random people in the audience, people he's never met. And amazingly, Peter will already know a ton about them. He'll know their first and last name, he'll know their home address, he'll know what illnesses they're suffering from. And he says he can do this not because he's psychic, but that he can do this because his God is feeding all of this information to him. So, it must be a miracle. And the audience sees this and they're like, how did he know all that information about this stranger? And they're always so impressed. And so his popularity grows.
Paid actor.
And it grows. And soon his faith healing sermons are broadcast all over the US and Canada on 51 TV outlets and over 40 different radio stations. And at this point, Peter is allegedly making
Was interrupted by an ad.
$500,000 a month.
Dang, a month?
$500,000 a month. In the 80s. Not only that, he and his ministry started
In the 80s, that's a lot of money.
all kinds of ridiculous blessed items, like miracle manna bread, holy anointed oil keychains, all kinds of shit. But whatever, bro doesn't seem to care, because he's starting to get crazy rich now, and it seems like everyone believes him, and no one is gonna call him on his bullshit. Until... Here's the thing, though. Not everyone watching Peter's sermons on TV are impressed. Specifically, this guy isn't impressed. James. And James, he's a stage magician, and he's also a very popular skeptic, and he's publicly known to debunk scams and other things he finds bogus. And so James sees Peter's shows on TV, and he's like, yeah, this guy's a con artist. And so he gets a group of volunteers together, and they all decide to try and figure out exactly how Peter is pulling off this scam. And so James and this group, they go to one of Peter's sermons, and it's in this big auditorium, probably 10,000 people there. And at one point, the whole place is passing buckets around because they're collecting donations. And one of James's volunteers uses this as an excuse to get close to the stage so that he can get a good look at Peter. And once he's there, he notices Peter is wearing a hearing aid. And he thinks, well, that's weird. This guy can, like, heal people with his hands.
But he didn't heal himself?
Can't heal himself because he's wearing a hearing aid.
Mm-hmm.
So he goes back and he tells James, and they conclude that that's not a hearing aid at all. It's an earpiece, and someone must be
Giving
feeding Peter
information.
information through that earpiece. So they all go to his next sermon to investigate further. This time they bring a radio scanner, and one of James's volunteers dresses up as a security guard, and he stands in the back. And as soon as
Dang,
Peter
what year is
comes on
this?
stage and starts preaching, their scanner intercepts his radio transmission, and
Oh.
they can hear a voice through that scanner.
What does it say?
Hello, Petey. I love you. I'm talking to you. Can you hear me? If you can't, you're in trouble.
Now that voice is this woman, Elizabeth. Elizabeth is Peter's wife.
Oh.
And she is hidden in a different room, and she's feeding Peter all this
Dang, what year is it? They had all this technology in the 80s? Okay.
information through his earpiece.
We have a hot one for you. Robert K. Wood.
Who is Robert Wood? Is it Robert
K. Wood.
K. Wood? Robert K. Wood.
That needs surgery.
You need surgery. The doctors were going to do surgery on you?
Okay, so here's how they were pulling off this scam. So the church would have the congregation fill out prayer cards before the sermon, and they would put them in a prayer box. And Peter's wife would sneak in and switch the boxes out. And then she would read people's information off the prayer cards to Peter through his earpiece.
Right next to her is Morris Christman.
Just a minute. Who is Morris?
Christman.
Christman?
Yeah, he's got hernia and high blood pressure.
You've got a hernia also.
And as far as the faith healing goes, I mean, he's not really healing any of these people. They just think he is because they're caught
It's
up
like
in the moment.
placebo or
because they're
something?
so hopeful and full of adrenaline. But he's not healing anyone. So anyway, James takes all of these recordings and he goes on The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson, which is the biggest show on TV during this time. And they play these recordings on the show for all of America to hear. And poor Peter is finally exposed as a fraud. And so then he has to lie and publicly deny it. And first he says, no, that wasn't my wife feeding me information through an earpiece. One of my haters hired an actor to try and set me up. In fact, he comes up with a bunch of excuses. But at the end of the day, the general public is like, fuck you, you're a con artist. And from there, donations to Peter's church slow down dramatically. And within a year, his whole organization files.
How? Like $500,000 a month? And you lost all that money? Like, that's crazy. I don't understand. How you lose all that money?
Oh, but that's not the end of Peter's story, because bro still loves money, and he's still determined to be rich. He's about to make a
But also, the people that he healed, did they never, like, come out and say, like, I wasn't healed? Like, they never got interviewed on TV? Like, he touched my head, but I'm still sick. Like, no one ever came out?
back. And so about 10 years go by, and Peter decides, yeah, he'll give that whole scamming religious people thing another shot.
Oh my
But
gosh.
this time, he decides to specifically target the black community. And so he starts to buy up commercial
Black people
time
didn't watch
slots on
TV?
BET. And there, he's advertising his sermons, and he's soliciting donations.
They didn't see what happened
He has
before?
this thing where he promises to heal people through the mail if they send him money. Not sure how that works. He also preaches the prosperity gospel, where
People
he
are
tells
so
people that if
gullible.
they
Oh my
send
gosh.
him a little money, that the Lord will
Just
then
because he
bless
talks
them
loud,
in return by
you think he's
making
doing
them
something?
wealthy. It's ridiculous and transparently corrupt. Regardless, surely enough, Peter's star starts to rise again, and the donations start rolling in. But I guess it's still...
That's so weird. Like, none of these people saw the scam a few years ago, a few years earlier. No one talked about it to their friends. Like, oh my gosh.
not enough money for him, because then he comes up with his
Looks like
best
Simon
yet
Cowell.
most absurd idea yet. Selling, and I'm not making this up,
Holy water?
blessed holy water through the mail.
How did I
Miracle
guess this?
spring water. It's apparently holy water that will not only heal you, but will make you rich.
You can be free to enjoy
Oh my
all
gosh.
of God's richest blessings. That's why he wants to send you your free packet of Miracle Spring Water.
Free
Your
packet?
point of contact for the miracle you need.
And as stupid as that sounds, it works, and it works well. And over the next few years, he and his church become super fucking wealthy. In fact, by 2003, he and his organization are making over $9 million a year.
I will send you the
I was gonna say a month.
spring water. I'll send you the instructions. I'll tell you how to use it to see total victory in every area of your life.
And by 2005,
Where's the other guy that exposed him?
Peter's company makes $24 million.
Why is there a finger on his head? Okay, AI.
Just that year alone. Then, of course, the church buys him a $4 million house to live in, tax-free because, the church technically owns it. And later, they buy him a Bentley. And if that isn't depressing enough, apparently, to this day, he's still out there preaching on TV.
What?
And he's still running late-night TV ads selling Miracle Spring Water.
Release your faith now by calling for your free packet of Miracle Spring Water.
Oh, my.
People are still gullible. Like, did they not hear what happened all those years ago when he got exposed the first time? And now it's like 2025, so like people can just look at stuff for themselves, but they still paying money for this holy water. Is probably just from his sink. I don't know. Dang, that's crazy. People are so gullible. He got exposed, but he's still doing what he does best, I guess, scamming people. But I don't understand people that are so easily influenced by other people. Like, it's so weird to me. But anyway, that is the end of this video. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. Let me know what else I should react to in the comments below. And if you want to see my experiences in Korea, you can check out my version of SexyV. And if you want to see my other socials, it's right here under my face. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. For this video, I'm going to be reacting to another Ray William Johnson video. It's a tongue twister for me sometimes. What is this? What was I saying? It's a tongue twister for me sometimes to say his name. But anyway, this is, she cut off her husband's wiener. I might have to change the title in my title, but yeah, she cut off her husband's wiener. I don't know. I don't think I know about the story, or maybe I have heard it. Maybe this was a story on Oprah a long time ago. I don't even know. But yeah, I need to hear more details. But maybe I have heard the story before and she was trying to protect herself. I don't know. But let's get into this video, and please subscribe. Let me know what else I should react to in the comments below.
Did you forget about this woman in the 90s who got so mad at her husband, she waited till he was asleep and then she cut off his wiener? Now, her
Okay,
name's Lorena.
I'm not sure anymore
She's
if I know
old,
the
she's going
story.
to college in Virginia, and one day in 1988, she meets this dude, John Wayne. And John Wayne's 22, and he's a Marine, and they hit it off.
John Wayne. Isn't that a actor's name? Let me turn it down a little bit. Okay, real picture.
And everything is going great.
Did he cheat on her?
Later, they get married, and this is actually a picture of them on their wedding day. And look at them. I mean, they seem to be really happy. Until... Here's the thing.
Dang. Only 30 seconds in, and he already got his until.
About his marriage, though. It actually ends up not going too well. John Wayne gets discharged from the Marines, and then he has trouble finding steady work, so Lorena has to become the provider, and this stresses them out. And they end up fighting all the time. Plus, John Wayne likes to drink.
Oh,
like
got that beer.
lot. And that's not really a good combination. And about a month into their marriage, boom, he starts being abusive.
Oh, it's interrupted by Ned.
Her and he punches her sometimes. It's awful. And so
Okay, so he's abusive now. I guess she cut it off to save herself.
Their fights start to get really bad, to the point where they call police on each other. Then, to make it worse,
why not get a divorce?
Getting pregnant, and he doesn't think she would make a good mother, so he allegedly pressures her to get an abortion. And she does, and then she resents him over it. So basically, he's really abusive, and their relationship is toxic as hell. And all this goes on for several years, until she's around 24 and he's around 26. And it's at this point that they've both hit their limit, and they've had enough of each other. And she's trying to get a protective order against him while he is asking her for a divorce. So this marriage is basically
why not just divorce?
It's on its way out. And that is when shit gets really crazy. Because one night, it's 1993, and John Wayne, he's been out all night drinking at the bar, and bro is absolutely wasted. While Lorena, she's at home in the bedroom asleep. And so John Wayne comes home from the bar.
He drives
and suddenly, boom,
drunk.
he busts into the room. And this scares Lorena. But he doesn't care, because that is when he pins her down and he allegedly essays her. And then afterwards, when
I think I have heard this story. I think she was on Oprah. I think I saw this story on Oprah or something, an interview. I feel like this is not the first time I heard about this.
he's done, he passes out in the bed. While poor Lorena, she's just disgusted and she's sick to her stomach, and so she leaves the room and she goes downstairs.
Oh, dang.
She doesn't want to be around him.
It's a crazy
she goes
story.
into the kitchen to get some water, and that is when she sees it, a large kitchen knife. So she starts thinking, fuck this guy. She is not going to be a victim anymore. She's about to get her revenge. So she grabs the knife and she heads back upstairs to the bedroom.
Oh.
And John Wayne, he's still asleep, passed out, drunk as hell, no idea what's about to happen.
But also, yeah, he's crazy for what he did, but I think she's kind of crazy too for doing this to him, because I don't know, like, just being the person that does it and seeing it happen. Like, I can't watch some movies if it's too violent. So just the act of doing this and seeing it in real life, in person, that's crazy. Like, I can cut a piece of chicken, I can cut some beef, but cutting a ding-a-ling, nope, not on my, no. I cannot do that.
She pulls his willy up and
Just thinking, just thinking about it.
She cuts it right
Oh my gosh.
And so she's standing there, holding it, and John Wayne wakes up like, what the f***? But like,
He's not
still
screaming?
so drunk that he doesn't even realize
Oh.
what happened and that his junk is missing. So he just lays there, all confused, like, whoa, what's going on? While Lorena, she's like, oh shit, and boom, she runs away with the schlong still in her hand.
Oh my
And
gosh.
she runs out of the apartment and she jumps in her car and skirt, she flees.
She still has
Minutes
it?
later, she's speeding along the road, trying to calm down, and she realizes that
Oh my
she
gosh.
can't steer her car
These pictures.
properly because she still has John Wayne's stupid wiener in her hand. So she rolls down the window
She throws it out the
and
window.
she throws it out of the car as
I
hard.
think like I said, I think this was on Oprah. Actually, what is this? Is this the carrot that they blurred, or did the AI something? But yeah, I think the police came, they found it, and they sewed it back on. I think if he mentions that, then yes, I saw this story on Oprah.
hard as she can, and it flies through the air and it lands in a nearby field. Minutes after that, she arrives at her boss's house. Her boss is like also her friend.
But
So
he didn't
Lorena
bleed
gets
to
there,
death,
she
right?
goes inside and she's upset and she's freaking out. And boss is like,
Doesn't she have blood
"What
on
did
her?"
John Wayne do to you this time?" And Lorena's like, "No, I cut off his pee-pee." And boss is like, we should probably call the police. And so boss calls the police and she tells them what happened.
Is this what she
Police
looks
are
like?
Okay, well, just tell us where we can find it and we'll go look for it. And so around 4 a.m. in the morning, there's a gang of police officers out in this
Yeah,
field
and they
combing
sew it
through the
on, like
grass,
he
looking around
recovers,
for a
right?
rogue wiener. And then around 4:30, finally they find it, lying on the ground. Apparently one of the officers accidentally stepped on it. Like, oops, oh hey, there it is. Here's the thing though, they don't know what to put it in, like what kind of container. Like they've never done this before. So they go to a nearby 7-Eleven and they end up putting it in,
Cup of
and
ice?
I'm not making this up, a hot dog box. One that looks like this.
Okay.
Meanwhile, John Wayne, he had a friend drive him to the hospital. And there, he waits for the police to show up with his wiener so that doctors can reattach
Like, how do they
it. Which
sanitize?
He ends up going into surgery, and they do. They reattach
Okay,
it,
I saw this story on
clearly
Oprah.
It works fine. Regardless, bam, they arrest Lorena. And I don't have a mugshot of her, but here she is in real life. And so, all of this is happening in the 90s.
Wait, but did she press charges for what he did?
And this story blows the fuck up. Because it's a crazy story, and it's in like every newspaper headline. Late night talk show hosts are all making
Her
jokes
name
about
sounds
it,
familiar.
monologues.
Something
Saturday
Bobbitt, what was
Night
it?
Live is making fun of it. But here's
Oh,
where the story gets
something Bobbitt.
interesting. There are actually
What's her name?
two crimes in this scenario. One is John Wayne essaying Lorena,
Yeah.
and two is Lorena cutting off his glizzy with
He didn't get in
a knife.
trouble?
And each of these crimes
I don't remember.
has a separate trial. And John Wayne's trial goes first, and he's being charged with SA. And his trial is wild, because they're like holding up pictures of his wiener for the jury and everyone to see. It's absolutely insane. Now, keep in mind that all of this is happening during a time when the common sentiment...
Okay, so his trial was first, even though he committed the crime. He committed a crime first, but I guess his trial was first because it was reported first. But they're using evidence against her to make her look crazy, so nothing happens to her, or nothing happens to him because of what he did.
It was that if a husband essays his wife, it doesn't really count as SA.
Oh, yeah, I saw this on Oprah. And yes, it does, because even though you're married and you don't consent, it still counts as SA. I think it's Oprah episode. Look it up.
Yeah, I know, it's terrible. And at the end of it all, it seems like the jury agrees with at least some of that, because he gets found not guilty. Then Lorena goes to her trial, and she's being accused of malicious wounding. And she gets on the stand, and she describes the
Okay,
abuse she
Lorena
had gone
Bobbitt
through,
sounds familiar.
And lucky for her, she's also found not guilty
Okay,
by
good.
reason of temporary insanity. So neither of them see any real prison time for this. But then, after the trials, John Wayne apparently decides that he kind of likes the spotlight. So he just keeps going, taking every opportunity he can. He allegedly starts a band called Severed Parts that apparently doesn't go anywhere because I couldn't find much about it. Then he goes on to star
Wait,
in
what
an
did his
adult film
other
'cause I
shirt say?
couldn't find much about it.
Oh,
Then
never
he
mind.
goes on to star in an adult film called John Wayne Bobbitt Uncut. And yes, you're looking at an actual scene from that movie. Then he goes on the Howard Stern show, where they apparently raise money for him to get penis enlargement surgery. And they actually do it. They raise the money, and he legitimately ends up getting the enlargement surgery. Then he and his new wiener stars in another adult film, and it's called, and I wish I were making this up, Frankenpenis.
Oh my gosh.
Then, around this time, he
What
gets
year is this?
convicted of battery for hitting his new fiance, and he's...
Okay, so are they gonna reopen the trial? New evidence, hello?
spends a few weeks in jail. A few years after that, he appears on WWE Monday Night Raw for some reason. And then a year later, bam, he gets arrested again, this time for battery charges against his new wife. And sometime after that, he has to get his penis enlargement surgery reversed. I guess there were some complications, or it looked weird or something. And so he has surgery to get it back to his normal
Dang,
size.
so many
Bro did a lot. While
ding-a-ling
Lorena, on the
surgeries.
other hand, she kept more of a low profile, and later on, she actually goes on to found her own organization to help victims of domestic violence. And this is her talking about it on
is that-
TV. She's
That's her now. What talk show was that?
organization to help victims of...
Is that Drew Barrymore? Can't really tell because it's kind of cut off. But, oh yeah, I see the yellow cup. So this is pretty recent because Drew Barrymore had her show for not that long. And, but it must not be that recent because Drew Barrymore's show, they have a couch and she basically sits on the person's lap because she loves to sit really close to them. But yeah, that's crazy. And I wonder if the jurors that found him not guilty, I wonder if they're like, dang, I guess he is guilty because like he's doing all these battery after all that stuff happened. But yeah, like he cannot stay out of jail. He's just a crazy person. Like I wonder what he's up to now. Is he still in prison? I don't know. He's crazy. And this wouldn't have happened if he wasn't crazy in the first place. But yeah, that's the end of this video. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. Let me know what else I should react to in the comments below. And if you want to see my experiences in Korea, you can check out my first channel, Sexy V. And if you want to see my other socials, it's right here under my face. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.